everyone, good day. This is Sabha Samreen from MSc Biotechnology, roll number 27, studying in the Department of Life Sciences, Christu Jayanti College, under the guidance of Manikandan sir. I'll be presenting my topic microarray principle, procedure, and applications as our activity-based evaluation. Um, So these are my contents. I'll be talking about introduction, history, principle, types of DNA microarray, procedure, advantages and disadvantages, applications, conclusion and references. Coming on to introduction. So what is DNA microarray? DNA microarray is nothing but a technique in which thousands of nucleic acids that get bound to a surface and are measured and are used to measure the relative concentration of the nucleic acid sequences with the help of hybridization and detection. It is also called as DNA chip or biochip. This technique has revolutionized the gene expression profiling approach when compared to other gene sequencing methods. It is less cumbersome and gives very high throughput. Um, DNA microarray is said to be a collection of small microscopic DNA spots that are attached to a solid surface. So where every DNA spot attached contains thousands of copies of a specific DNA sequence. It contains only a specific DNA sequence, but thousands of copies of it, and these sequences are called as probes, and every microarray has one or few probes for the gene under the study. These were developed as a technique for large-scale DNA mapping and sequencing. Coming on to its history, the first DNA microarray was created with the help of colony hybridization by Grunstein and Huggins in the year 1975, and then in the year 1979, Gregan developed ordered arrays which picked up colonies into 144 well microplates, and then in late 1880s and in around 1919s, Hans Lehrach's group automated this process of microarray thing by using robotic systems to quickly array clones from a microtiter plate on the filter. So here we moved on from mechanical way to a robotic system. And then in late 90s and 2000s, this technique progressed very quickly as new methods of production and fluorescent detection were adopted here. Then coming on to its principle, here the microarray technique uses the ability of a given micro mRNA or the cDNA to bind to a specific DNA template. The used mRNA or cDNA is here fluorescently labeled, and the DNA array contains many samples. Thus, in one experiment, expression of thousands of genes can be detected. So, simultaneous detection of gene can be done here, and the amount of mRNA bound to the microarray spots is precisely calculated with microarray softwares. So coming on to the types of DNA microarray, there are commonly two types of microarrays being widely used. That is oligonucleotide based microarray and cDNA based microarray. So the first one is it is also called as gene chip. It is a type of microarray where DNA oligonucleotides are spotted onto the arrays, and then a small number of nucleotide per gene, around 20 to 25 are there. So in this, each gene is normally represented by more than one probe, while in cDNA based microarray, that is complementary DNA based microarray, the chips are prepared using cDNA, and these are also called as cDNA chips. So which are then amplified using PCR and then are immobilized on a solid support that is made up of nylon filters of a glass slide. So the cDNA chips are then loaded into the spot spin by capillary action, and small volumes of this DNA preparation is spotted on a solid surface, making physical contact between the two. So moving on to the the procedure, how it is done. So there are various steps. So I'll be taking you to the various steps. First step is a collection of samples. The sample used here can be a cell or a tissue of an organism that is of your interest, or it is being investigated. So the two samples, there are. It is usually that. Two samples are collected. One is a healthy sample and other one is a infected sample. And the next step is where you isolate the mRNA. So we extract the RNA from the sample using either a column or solvent such as phenyl chloroform. From the extracted DNA, we separate mRNA from the mixture of tDNA, rRNA, tRNA, rRNA, etc. And as mRNAs have poly A tail, we add a column containing beads with poly T tails. So these are used so that the mRNA binds to this poly T tail beads. And then the column is rinsed with buffer to release the mRNA from the beads. As the buffer gets disrupts the as the buffer disrupts the pH, so it disrupts the hybrid forms. Next step is where you create a labeled complementary DNA. So here we add a labeling mix to the RNA. This labeling mix contains a poly T-tail primer, reverse transcriptase, so that we can make cDNA from the RNA, and fluorescently dyed nucleotides. Then we add cyanin 3, that fluoresces green, to the healthy samples, and cyanin 5 that fluoresces red to the infected sample. So add the primers and RT-PCR. We then add the primers and RT bind to the mRNA first, and then add the fluorescently dyed nucleotides. Then we create a complementary strand. After we have created the labeled cDNA, we go for hybridization. Here we apply the cDNA created to a microtiter plate, microarray plate. Then apply both the sample to the same plate when comparing. And the single stranded DNA present in the sample will bind to the cDNA present in the plate. Then we go for detecting the relative intensities of the fluorescence under the microarray scanner. So here we use a scanner that contains a laser, a computer, and a camera. It has three parts. So the laser here causes the hybrid bonds to fluoresce. The camera then records the image produced when the laser scans the plate, and the computer allows us to immediately view the result, and it stores the data. Then we go for analyzing the data. The difference in the intensity of the color for each spot determines the character of the gene in the particular spot. So this is how it is done, a pictorial representation of the DNA microarray. We take two types of cells of the same tissue, that is either a normal cell, and one is the abnormal. Here we have taken the cancer cells. We collect the sample, we then culture the cells, then we isolate the mRNA from both the types, and then we use the reverse transcription mechanism and labeling to synthesize cDNA and label them, and then we go for hybridize the cDNA probes to oligonucleotide on microarray. So here we go for DNA microarray. So after you scan using the laser, the computer, and the camera, we get this image. So here the green ones are the normal cells and the red ones are the disease cells only. While if you want to find the hybridized cells, this yellows are present. These yellow sequences are present in both the cells. The sequences here in this yellow circles are present in both the cells, like the normal cells and the cancer cells, while the gray ones are not present in any of the cells. So coming on to the advantages and disadvantages. Advantages is that this technique provides thousands of gene expression data simultaneously. That is the sequence here used as one sequence. We find the complementary to that, and it is fast and easy to obtain the results. While the disadvantage is that the DNA chips do not have a longer shelf life. Applications, there are a variety of applications here. First, we use this technique for gene expression analysis. That is the main application of DNA microarray, where we use this technique to measure the gene expression levels of the gene under study. Then comes the transcription factor binding analysis, where the DNA microarrays are used to determine the binding sites of transcription factors, and the microarrays are used in combination with chromatic immunoprecipitation for determining it, and this technique is called as chip. Chip here is chromatin immunoprecipitation on a chip, or a chip here means microarray. The second chip is microarray. The first chip is chromatin immunoprecipitation. Then next application is genotyping. Here microarrays are widely used as a single nucleotide polymorphism genotyping platform. Next is in cancer, where the tumor formation here in cancer involves simultaneous changes in hundreds of cells and variations in genes. So microarrays have been proven to be a boon for researchers, as it provides a platform for simultaneous testing of large sets of genetic samples. It helps in the identification of single nucleotide polymorphisms, mutations, cancer biomarkers, and classification of the tumors, and many more things. Next is antibiotic treatment. Here the DNA microarray analysis helps, as the bacterial genomic DNA often outlasts the viability of the bacteria, and diagnosis can be done using a small amount of DNA. Then comes the early detection of oral precancerous lesions, where the microscopic examination of leukoplakia fails here to identify the small subsets of lesions that progress to later become the oral cancer. So in order to overcome this process, in order to overcome this loophole, here we use the identification of gene expression profiles by using DNA microarray, which allows the clinicians to differentiate harmless white lesions from the precancerous lesions. So that's about it. In conclusion, I would say that it is a laboratory. The microarray technique is a laboratory tool that is widely used for detection of gene expressions of thousands of genes at the same time. So this is also a tool that has revolutionized the gene expression profiling approach. Currently, this technique has limited applications due to the cost factor, but it may widen its prospects once there is an increase in the availability of commercial products. At present, these are only used as research tools. So that's about it. These are my references, and thank you.